So we are here at the Road to Zero Ride and Drive. We're so excited to have you all here today. First, I want to introduce Shane. He is the Chief Commercial Officer, yes, of Cleco, and they are the sponsors of today's event, and we are so proud to have them here and so grateful for their support. And please welcome Shane.
Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you for the introduction, Ann, and I appreciate you ordering up this nice weather that we've got for a change. We can finally breathe a little bit in Louisiana. But just want to say welcome everyone to the Louisiana Clean Fuels Road to Zero Drive event. Again, I'm Shane Hilton. I'm the Chief Commercial Officer for Cleco Power, and our team has been working very, very closely with Louisiana Clean Fuels over the past couple years, hosting several similar events across our service territory. We serve 24 parishes in Louisiana and have been a big advocate, for this technology around our service territory, and really excited to see the adoption that's happening across our service territory. With clean technology, has actually exceeded our expectations as we kind of entered into this space, if you will, a few years ago. We're definitely proud to be the headline sponsor of this event, and always excited to support our local programs, our local communities with initiatives like this, especially with cleaner, more sustainable technology and a more affordable energy solution. So the Ride and Drive event portion is really just to share and showcase the benefits of electric and hybrid vehicles, and really get a chance to look at all the different models and technology out there. I know when I go to these events, I'm blown away, at how it's progressed. When I see, garbage trucks and school buses, and even our bucket truck over there, it's just really amazing how things have progressed over the last 2 or 3 years in this space. So really excited about it. I encourage everybody to get out today and really explore the technology and take advantage of it. I'm always impressed, every year that we do this. I really want to thank, again, Louisiana Clean Fuels, CalStart, and other participating vendors that make this event a reality. I also want to thank all of our local political and business leaders that take time to get out and support events like this. Is very important in our community. So we really appreciate and thank you for being leaders in this space in our community. So as I said earlier, electric vehicles are really getting more and more popular across our service territory. We saw registered electric vehicles served by Cleco grow over 10% in the second quarter of this year, which definitely exceeded our forecast and our expectations. In our line of work, we use all kind of different vehicles and equipment, to provide power to our employees and our customers, and serve the communities that, across the state. A few years ago, we started deploying these EPTOs, electric power takeoff trucks that you see over here, which basically allows the boom and bucket to operate without the engine idling. This does a lot of things. It saves on fuel. It improves worksite communication, which is a huge safety thing for our employees. You think about the linemen out there with a lot of trucks running and things going on, and they're up in the air, and they're trying to get a transformer changed out or conductors strung up or whatever it is. Just the quietness of the EV technology has really done a lot to improve the safety of it. Not to mention, you don't have the exposure to the heat and exhaust that comes off of a diesel engine that otherwise you'd have to deal with. So we've deployed 7 of these EPTO bucket trucks so far this year, and we have 8 more of them in production. So our line mechanics are really liking the technology and all the features of the technology. In addition to the bucket trucks, we're also deploying fast chargers at major work locations, and we already operate a small fleet of fully electric and plug-in hybrid light-duty vehicles around our 24 parish region. So adding EVs to our fleet gives us firsthand experience in these vehicles, especially as they continue to grow in popularity. Research shows that EV owners can save up to 60% in gasoline costs. They also spend less on maintenance and repair fees over vehicles other vehicles because of fewer moving parts. Electricity is simply a much more efficient use of energy than internal combustion engines with internal combustion components that fail. So, long story short, the adoption of EVs is really just getting started. Cleco supports electrification in a smart way to use energy. So, whether it's replacing a gasoline powertrain with with an electric powertrain or converting a gas compressor's internal combustion engine to an electric motor, electrification lowers operating costs, improves efficiency, reduces emissions, and helps businesses meet any emissions reduction targets they may have. So, a lot going on with it in the company as far as transitioning to the new technology. A lot of things going on in our service territory. Again, we're seeing a very large acceptance of the technology and more growth of the technology than we expected, which is a great thing for our state, for our customers and for our employees. So at this time, I'd like to introduce Richie Biedenhorn. Richie came to us several years ago, and he has been our clean fuels EV guy, if you will. And he's been really leading the effort for Cleco and done a lot to really push promotion for this technology across Louisiana. So at this time, Richie.
Thank you, Shane. That was perfect. I think that many of you know me, but I'll introduce myself again. I'm Richie Biedenhorn, the electric vehicle program manager for Cleco Power. I've been in the role for a few years. I also serve on a volunteer basis as the president board of directors of Louisiana Clean Fuels. But it wouldn't be doing my job unless I was selling EVs. But I do want to say that there's some really good alternative fuel vehicles here that are non-EVs. So we've got like the Republic Services truck, LNG, CNG, propane. All these things can be great solutions. A lot of the benefits can apply to those just like they would for EV. But talking a bit about Cleco and EVs, we're seeing our customers adopt EVs at a rate that we didn't really anticipate. 34% growth last year in registered EVs. And we're probably going to see similar levels of growth, maybe a little bit lower this year. But 2 years of over 30% growth is actually incredible if you're measuring something. And the state itself is closing in on 20,000 EVs in operation. Still not a huge number compared to the hundreds of thousands of cars, but they're growing really, really fast here. And you'll see if y'all stick around for my talk this afternoon where I dive into this data, we're doing better than a lot of other states if you measure our month-to-month improvement, if that makes sense. So talking broadly about EVs, I always talk about the fuel savings. I think everybody knows that now, that you can save money. That seems to be people's focus. But from like a private consumer or fleet driver perspective, driving EVs is just different in a way that saves you time. And I think that's really confusing or maybe not immediately obvious to gasoline car drivers. You accept a lot of things about a gas car that you don't really have to do anymore with a electric vehicle, right? So I used to drive to Costco across town to get the cheapest and safest place to fuel in New Orleans. It would be 15 minutes each way. I might go inside, I might not. That's a significant diversion of my time. And now my cheapest and best place to fuel is at home, essentially using a at-home charger, right? That is an incredibly big change. It's up there with like Amazon Prime and Netflix on like saving me time, right? It's one of the best things I've done to manage my time is purchasing an EV. And I think that's part of, the solution that people aren't really taking advantage of or thinking about before they make the switch. Additionally, Cleco's focusing a lot on fast charging. We have some products related to that. Since I first gave a speech like this about 2.5 years ago, the fast charging picture has evolved dramatically in Louisiana. I won't say it's completely solved, but you can drive anywhere you want in the state and it really not be a problem with 10-minute diversion, 15-minute diversion at most. To me, that's totally acceptable. I drive all over the state. I'll get into this data later this afternoon, but it's actually, it saves me so much time to leave with a full battery versus having to go get gas to leave my house. But what is Cleco doing about EVs? We have a lot of different products available. We have a residential incentive, so if you're a Cleco customer, you can qualify for a $250 rebate. I see some people who have potentially taken advantage of that in the crowd. But for businesses, we offer a $1,000 rebate for a level 2 charger. That's a considerably higher amount. You can purchase and install a charger for a figure lower than that if you're smart about it and you place it well and you have panel capacity or it's a really generous incentive, and we're really hoping to influence behavior. And we're seeing, there are businesses that have taken advantage of hundreds of these incentives for a large medium-duty fleet in our service territory. We also provide incentives for DC fast charging, $3,500 per plug. We're really trying to get those chargers out there, but I really do stand behind the belief that that problem is largely solved for EV drivers. If you study concerns of EV drivers before they purchase the EV, fast charging is way near the top. And when you purchase the EV, it drops down to maybe your third or fourth consideration. So it's just different than gas. You want to use it like a gas station, but you don't. I've charged a total of 12 hours over 3 years. And maybe half of that was in the past year because I've been driving longer distances. I mean, it's really a non-issue. And then we also have our EV charging station rider. So this is a special rate for publicly available charging stations that help, lower uncertainty when it comes to their bill for low utilization sites. That's actually something that we see as a problem with DC fast charging sites, is that they're not being utilized enough. That's kind of the opposite of how people kind of perceive them, but there are essentially idle fast charging sites in our network, and that can be a problem for those site hosts. But we're working closely with fleet operators. We offer fleet assessments. We can do analysis on your operations. We're learning on our own from our own fleet team who's here today. I encourage you to talk to them. But Coleco is really taking this on in a big way, and we're seeing a lot of the fruits of our labor. So thank you for coming. Please take advantage of the opportunity to drive all of these alternative fuel vehicles. I'm partial to the EVs, but I know the medium duty stuff, we've got some great solutions here today, and they're big supporters of Louisiana Clean Fuels, and it's a multi-fuel organization. But with that, let's get out there and start driving EVs. Thank you, everybody, and come chat with me or chat any of our Coleco folks that are here if you have any questions about what we do with EVs. Thank you, everybody.